Good evening, Cancer. Welcome to my channel. I'm doing a quick love reading. I'm doing something I don't usually do, which is assigning positions. And so the first card will be what are their feelings, the second, why are they feeling this way, the third, their actions towards you, if any. I don't usually assign positions, it's a choice, but I wanted to try it out. All the other readers do it, so it's more of a challenge for me than anything, and it's to create variety on my channel. I'm integrating an oracle card out of a deck called Into the Lonely Woods. It is a deck describing a little bit more feelings of isolations and separated, feeling separate. But there are some very positive cards in there, and the main interest here was that they're filled with emotions, and that's the point. So let's see, Cancer, what kind of emotion comes up. Okay, you see, they don't separate well, so 3 came out, so I'm not going to take them. I will draw out of this one. I do want to shuffle a bit more. Okay, let's do this. So what is that feeling they have? The littlest blessing. And we have a beautiful ladybug for the ones that love ladybugs. Ladybugs are often considered miraculous. And so in that sense, it's very fitting for the word blessing. And it feels like you are very you have the eyes of the heart, right? So you're able to see blessings even in the smallest things, Cancer. And that comes with your great sensitivity. You're a water sign, very loving and caring, especially towards animals. That's interesting. Let us see. So, first card, what are their feelings for you? Whether it's past, present, or future, I don't want to keep repeating that. Let me just say it once now. I will not give too much of a time frame unless it's clear in the cards. I think it's up to you to make it, to apply it to your own situation. Okay, so only one card for the what they're feeling. 5 of Swords. So they're feeling conflicted, but they're feeling some form of irritation and maybe even some kind of frustration, and maybe all the way to anger towards you. Some form of anger. It's interesting, I just heard one aspect of the frustration is not having expressed fully XYZ to you. So part of the anger is actually bottled up anger for not having had the chance to actually express something. I mean, those are swords. Or if it's not having, I mean, it is a card of, it would be verbal arguments, right? So what I'm about to say, if I know it's, okay, sorry. I'm trying to say 2 things at once. It's not working out. So what I'm trying to say is, you would think it would be simply or singularly a verbal argument. I'm stipulating that it could also be that there was that there might have been harsh words, but there are things that either they didn't voice, or some things that they have voiced came out all crooked, and it came out all, negative and probably hurtful, etc. But it's probably not what they intended, especially not within the context of a love relationship. Even if you're angry, it's a little bit like saying, you went too far, and could have been that as well, right? Words that weren't necessarily meant, or, let's see why this has happened, why, at least why. I'm curious about, if ever it's your situation, the fact that this person might have been angry with you, said some harsh things, but actually didn't really voice what they needed to. I'm curious to know why. And I'm also curious to know why they would have, it would have come out in anger instead of maybe a mature dialogue, conversation, sit down. What happened, or why? I mean, please be patient. I prefer the cards to come out by themselves. So we have the Hangman in reverse. So that's an interesting reason. I'm hearing it's a lack of foresight. It's a lack of open-mindedness to a degree. It's also, the why is because, okay, this card is always tricky, but when it's upright, the Hangman is in reverse. When it's in reverse, the Hangman looks like he's upright. All that to say that this person might have felt out of sorts, right? So not being themselves in the moment, hence why they probably are regretting either speaking harshly, right, and having said words that went too far for what they were really feeling, or also feeling out of sorts enough that they weren't able to articulate what they needed to say to resolve the situation, right? All it created was just more conflict. There's also a lot of frustration. The bottled up anger and the frustration I was sensing. There's something here about, the Hangman, if he's hanging, so usually it's to get clarity, but in this case he's not really, he doesn't have the foresight that I was describing before. So I think it creates frustration for him or her, right? It's not gender specific, it's just because it's a it's a man on this card. Another thing that could have been an issue, the why you eventually, why you fell out, why you fought, why there was an argument, why there was anger, why there was harsh words, and why certain things weren't said, are based on the fact that this person might have been sleeping on you, quote unquote. So there's something about leaving the other hang, right? So whether it was you or them, like there's something about one of you left the other person hanging. So in the dark about either their feelings, their motivations, their next steps, the common ground with you, the future, X, Y, Z, whatever it was for you. So that might have been an issue about, feeling like, it's funny, I just did Gemini and they had the same energy of the void, feeling like they had no grasp. It's the same sensation, literally. It's interesting. You might want to go to the Gemini reading, whether you have placements in Gemini, it's just for the description of what was happening to that person when they met the void. It was particularly difficult for them to experience the non-reciprocity, basically, of whatever the feeling was or the intentions were. It was just this lack of reciprocity, and not in a balanced way. It's not the Six of Pentacles energy. It's of Pentacles energy. It's just like in relationships, the idea is that you're relating, you're connecting with someone. So if you're trying very hard to have a connection and the person is being like a Teflon, right? There's nothing sticks. It creates exactly that sensation of the void and non-reciprocity, basically. So let's see what this person's actions are with you, towards you. 2 cards. Or maybe 3? 2. Not sure how they... I think maybe this one was on top. Anyway, Sun in reverse with the 7 of Cups in reverse. So I'm a little bit biased when the Sun comes out. I love the Sun card, but don't we all as readers? One thing I will say is I think the sunshine is the littlest blessing here. So the Sun upright would have been like a full-blown, huge, big blessing, right? This one is tiny, but it's there nonetheless. And so there's somehow there's whatever has happened. I don't think the connection is fully lost. I don't think the feelings are fully lost. But there is a form of I'm gonna say, like, it's not discontent. It's a little bit more like knowing that you have such a great connection with someone, and for having felt it in the past, like full on, and like knowing just how great it is, and then having the sort of deception or disappointment, I should say, that right now at the moment it's really like not as strong, even like very much it's being impacted, of course, right? So but it's that sense of maybe lack. No, it's not a lack, it's just like once you've experienced like the full thing, and then you have the other experience of having only a little bit of it, it is you feel like you're missing it, right? You feel like there's something missing. So the 7 of Cups here. I think what's missing in that connection is the lack of, I mean, I'm going to interpret it as a lack, but I'm going to choose other words, but right now that's what I'm using. Like a lack of well, here I was gonna say I'm gonna choose another word, but here it's a lack of choice, a lack of, let me be clear on this. It's hard to express because the combination itself, it's like, I really don't like the word lack here. So let me just, give me a moment. I really want to try to better express this. So I need to go back to what the cards were like, would be if they, what the energy would be if the cards were upright. So this person has experienced with you a very intense, very hot and sunny connection with you. So very positive, uplifting, empowering, connectedness, right? Like something, you were the center of their universe, of their galaxy, right? They made you feel special. Like there was something incredibly strong here. So through that connection, you've experienced all these feelings. And so usually the Seven of Cups is like, well, you don't know what you want, and you're dabbling, and you don't know which one to pick. So if you want to read it that way, fine, but that's not how I choose to read it. So all that to say that it's a variety of feelings that made you feel so complete. Because the cards are reversed, it feels like that has disappeared, right? That's what I'm telling you, is the light or the force of that, of those, the intensity of those feelings, and all of the variety of how it lit you up, right? Like it made you happy, it made you feel strong, it made you feel confident, it made you, it created like ripple effects for you. And so here, like, you're also feeling the depletion of all of those sensations. So that's why I was using the word lack. Like I know what I'm feeling inside, but it's another thing to tell you. And to stick to the meanings of the cards as much as possible, although there's a very specific feeling coming through. And so to go back to them, their actions, I think it's really interesting. It's like they're gonna choose to are they really choosing? I'm gonna be very honest here. The energy for me here is, some people interpret the Seven of Cups as a very, because you weren't able to choose prior. Some people say, well, now you've chosen and it's a clear-cut choice, right? But that's not what I'm sensing here at all. I'm sensing that their actions is to retrieve the intensity, yes, and to retrieve the variety, to retrieve the wealth of emotions that they've experienced with you. Now, how that's possible within the context of, lacking clarity, lacking even the energy and the motivation here. The Hangman is even in reverse, there's not much oomph. So, and you know, we also see that on the sun in reverse, like although they would want to recreate the intensity, there's a lack of motivation, literally, like quite apparent here. And I think the hurdle, really, the biggest hurdle is the conflict energy, conflictual energy. I think that's like what deters them. It's a big turnoff. It's a huge hurdle. It's really interesting. It's like out of all the feelings that they've experienced with you, they really don't want to experience the 5 swords. And I mean by that, like, I think that within the argument, there were also a variety of experiences felt through the argument, through the fight, because they didn't just feel anger, or like there was, I mentioned frustration as well, and there was a feeling of both having said too much and not having said enough, right? So there's like a mixed bag of things. And that's one thing they choose not to recreate. So they're hesitating and they lack motivation in that respect. And they're going to leave you hanging. I mean, I know I'm mixing now, like the positions. I kind of by default revert back to how I naturally read. But still, it's there. There's a little bit of movement in the sense that they will try to recreate something, but it's very faint because the light of the sun here is faint. The sun is in reverse. So maybe at the moment it's a thought, it's what they wish to do, but maybe they're not fully acting on it. That's a possibility. But just the fact that they're wanting to recreate that and wanting to experience that immense intensity is the blessing, and is enough to, you know, leave you with hope. Okay, Cancer, I will leave you on this note. I wish it would have been different in terms of a happier reading, but it is what it is. So on that note, thank you so much for being here. Do like, share, subscribe, please. I'll see you soon.